that has, they've done a lot of upgrades. And then they're going through a grant process to update the pump stations. They have like 14. I only have 3 here. 4 now, but I mean.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and then they go with Wallwood guys to learn where their pump stations are. So I just went once last week and try to go again this week. If we're not in Colorado.
How many do they have in Walford?
Pump stations,
Oh,
they're big too. Around Gananda.
wow.
Sure of it anywhere.
Pretty cool.
So it's all different. I mean, it may be all different this time next year. I have no clue what I'll be. Oh, right.
Oh, no.
You don't know? I told him it's not that good job.
Are all the towns usually?
Pretty soon. Yeah, they already took Wallwood. They were going through all that last year. And then now, it's all a little weird. Cause like, I called there this morning, I go, hey, I'm the one who's gonna be working this weekend, you guys are turning that thing on, I wanna be there first. So he goes, oh yeah, go ahead, Chuck, go on and go over, so.
Alright, folks, I'm gonna call the meeting to order tonight, Monday, August 25th, 2025. Need a roll call, please.
Councilwoman Herman,
Here.
Councilman Kramer, Councilman Monville,
Here.
Councilwoman Tabor,
Here.
Supervisor Jones.
Here. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Starting off with some acknowledgements, Councilman Lauderdale, why don't you take away the vote?
Okay, been another very successful event up at the park with the Classic Car Show. They had 309 cars entries, the most they've ever had, and 20 vendors, and they're looking forward to next year. For the Marion Historic Association, they had a well-attended North Marion Railroad presentation a week ago, and we had a good thing happen today. The association hosted the Marion Central School administrators and 20 new teachers at the museum this morning. And they also met over at Stonehenge, so it's been an exciting day, good PR for Marion.
Yeah, I just have one to add. I'd like to add a heartfelt thank you to the Western Wayne Ambulance AM20 and Marion Volunteer Fire Department. Over the weekend, my husband and a good friend were working together to put up a tree stand when things took a sudden and unfortunate turn. They suffered a hard fall, and our friend sustained a leg injury, very serious. The accident occurred deep in the woods behind the orchard, which made the access very difficult for them. We're incredibly grateful for the dedicated members of the Western Wayne Ambulance, AM20 and Marion Volunteer Fire Department, who responded to the call. Their teamwork, creativity, and professionalism in navigating the terrain and safely extracting our friend made all the difference. Thanks to their swift and careful efforts, he was transported out of the woods and to the care that he needed. At the time, we didn't fully realize the extent of his injuries. He's now recovering, facing a long road, but we are certain that the outcome could have been much worse without the outstanding work of these emergency responders. On behalf of our families and our community, thank you. We are extremely fortunate to have such compassionate and capable individuals serving Marion and the surrounding area. Thank you.
Any other acknowledgements to be heard today? Okay. We do have a correspondence that was put into record, and we can move on to our discussion points. I would like to just clarify discussion 1 and discussion 4. Are those similar in nature, or can we combine them,
That was
or?
my question, I don't know.
I just was wondering the process, because I did bring my calendar the last couple meetings, because we normally are scheduling our meetings, and I wanted to know just where are we standing, because the time is,
Yep.
it's, August.
Yes.
I guess my question was.
Yeah, we need to
We
do-
had the policy, and you were gonna revise the policy, and I didn't see a revised policy.
No, not as of yet. Those revisions have not been made yet.
Okay,
So was that your question for number 4?
That was number 4, so we haven't had that.
Okay. Right. And, the town clerk and I, we did agree that we were going to, make our calendar for the first September meeting. We're gonna put the budget workshop calendar together.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Let me know. Perfect.
And then, any other questions on the 2026 budget process? Why we have those two open? Moving on, number 2, advertising for new MEO staff member.
Yeah, with, Steve taking his role to deputy supervisor and Tim not being available, I'm just kind of doing the thoughts of, are we looking to hire somebody, because we have quite a hole for drivers for the winter months and, snow removal, so and with Jeff leaving, we've got parking lots and things that need to be taken care of, so I didn't know what our thoughts were and what we were thinking about that.
I can answer a little bit of that, not too much because we are in right smack dab in the middle of union negotiations contract, but I do know the shop, they do wanna hire somebody before the winter comes. I haven't heard, I was given some time for transition, I haven't heard from Mr. Tabor at all, I just go based off what when I meet with the union rep and Stuart, and they're aware of the gap and they're aware of the man short come the winter time technically, so I'm assuming we might be here, I would like to see a resolution on this fall, the sooner the better.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we could.
There's just some issues with taking advantage of the new contract term benefits versus
Right.
not when you
Right.
hire someone prior to the authorization of the contract, so
Okay,
I'm kinda letting them work that out,
Okay.
what they wanna do.
yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, cause I know it's a tricky situation at the moment, but, yeah, we definitely have a hole.
But we do need, yes, I don't expect Mr. Tabor to be out of a truck, especially just considering that's what he's been his whole life.
Right, no, I don't expect him to not be in a truck,
But
but
with
then
Tim
we
being
also
gone.
have Tim not here and
Right.
Jeff not doing those
Right.
parking lots, so there is a piece that's gonna be missing.
No, absolutely, so hopefully we'll hear something soon. I meet with, the union on Wednesday,
Okay,
so
sounds
I
good.
have more information.
Alright, awesome. And just going to number 3?
Yep.
Okay, this is the historian laptop. It was given to me by the Historical Association because it was left in the office. So I just wanted to let you know I have that I'm turning that in for, the town. And then just wondered where we were on appointing or where we are in hiring, because we obviously need one due to the rules.
Mhm.
But I just didn't know where we stood.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to suggestions if you wanna send me recommendations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we put it out, who would be interested? Should we put it out there and ask if there's interested
That's what you'd like
individuals?
to do, you can.
Okay, alright, sounds good, we can do that.
And then, so number 5, the car show?
Yeah, just some miscommunication on the Friday of the show. For example, Summer Rec told the car show people that they couldn't use the restroom. While Steve Shute was setting up his tent, the kids ran over and they were running around in his work area. And Summer Rec filled one of their toters. So with that, I suggest we refund their one-day fee. I don't know the rest of the board feels on that. So,
Well, I don't know I never talked to Steve, I talked to Michelle, who, I thought was like the coordinator of the whole event.
John Costelli is the leader of that group.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think there was a clear understanding. I know there's a lot of questions going around with the scheduling on that Friday. I know they attempted to get in earlier and earlier as the date approached, which we all agreed not, you know, and
But I
yeah,
guess we had discussed at the last meeting that they had reserved for the whole day and paid for the whole day. They had the whole park. So I don't know what the rest of the board feels, but I think they should get one day back. Just my opinion.
I haven't heard anything. No one emailed me, and I was in communication with that team, with the understanding that they didn't need the lodge, they didn't need to be around there.
I'm confused why Summer Rec would have used their toter when they clearly have had a toter all, you know, they've had a garbage facility all season. That seems weird to me why they would.
Like I said, I wasn't up there, so I don't know what.
Yeah.
Oh, I was up there.
During summer rec.
No, on the day of the show. So that's where I heard all this.
Oh,
information.
Saturday, yeah. Well, I mean, I think process-wise, I would like to see more than just someone, third party coming up to a board member and complaining. I would like to see more of a formal email sent with some more details behind it, before we address that. Because I think that can get into some hairiness with everybody just kind of bringing complaints up.
And maybe if we did refund that half of Friday, since there was issues with part of the day, but not the entire process, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel something in good faith would be, you know, needed in this, but I just.
I could get behind supporting that. I also think, and I know we had these discussions, but, I definitely think parameters need to be set up next year so that summer rec is not an issue for the car show.
For that day, I think we need to plan.
Something could be
further
planned,
ahead
another
for-
outing, a field trip, something.
Yeah.
So just to carry it further, and talking with the people up there, they're gonna reserve the entire park, Friday, 8/14/26, and Saturday, 8/15/26. There will be no summer rec next year on those 2 days.
And just the
Summer rec will hold their Thursday water spray day with the kids at the elementary school like they did this year, so there's no mud up there prior to the event. Because these people were almost ready to pull. Now they're happy, they had a really good show, so I think if we set up the parameters, like Margie was talking about, but here's what they agreed to for next year, and they agreed that the farmer's market could be there on Friday night over in Pavilion D, they had no problem with that. But the issue was summer rec, so if we not summer rec, got plenty of time to schedule their event for next year.
In number 6, hiring policy, excuse me, Councilwoman Saber.
I put that on because we've had a couple situations in the last month around the hiring policy, and in thinking about it, I think after someone puts a policy in place, I think it's always good to revisit it and see how things are going. I would like to have it either on the next board meeting to discuss further with people's perspectives, or the one after that. And I'll just share a couple of things that I thought about regarding the hiring policy, is I'd like to see it open up to be any town location, not just limited to the town hall or the courtroom. Possibly it could be, up at the park, or, the library, or something like that. I think we need to change up and expand so it covers more of who could be available if we don't have 2 board members available, because we run into that with 2 different positions with interviews in the past couple of weeks. And then the other thing I'll just say is, I think there needs to be clarity. This is just my perspective, no decisions. I'm not looking for it today, I'm looking for a conversation at some point down the road. But I think virtual is concerning to me. Virtual is not phone. I think that there needs to be some parameters so that we can have eyes on a live human being, not just listening on the phone. So those were just a couple of things that I've written down after the last couple weeks, and thought that we should revisit at another point depending on what people think.
I've written down the same notes as I had last time we talked about this. If you need to go on a different site, like you mentioned, there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. So we made that note. Yeah. That's the only thing I had, I guess.
I've conducted virtual interviews before. I do feel that an actual face-to-face is warranted prior to, an offer being given. You know what I mean, like, I've done them as a preliminary, but not as the final decision. There's always had to have been a face-to-face. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to having virtual / phone, but there's gotta be a face-to-face before an offer is given. So whether that be the second stage of it,
Yeah, I mean, the virtual, it needs to stay. It's 2025, it's 2026. My husband has an advanced medical degree, and he just did his first by Zoom with a doctor.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
just.
it is what you do these days, especially with schedules, and if the person is
Yes.
already employed at another location
It's
and
very
you're
tough.
trying to fit it in, I get that. But as far as that being
But if
the
you're being
final
considered-
decision made,
Okay.
no, I think there needs to be a face-to-face. So I think virtual is still something we can have, but prior to a offer being made, there's gotta be a face-to-face interview.
So in that virtual, there will be 2 people there.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that. I'm just saying that there
have no problem.
still needs to be a virtual piece available. But not the final of the offer being made. I think
Yeah,
there
just
should
for
be a
clarity, I'm
stage.
not saying
Yeah,
virtual
yeah.
needs to go away.
Yeah.
When I hear virtual, I don't think phone.
No, I
And I don't
think Zoom
think
or Teams or
Phone
something.
unless it's like some sort of initial, I'm gonna start an interview process is
Yeah.
the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I've done some phone where you just are kind of giving them the aspects of the position, what is your, this is the pay amount, is that working for you, to kind of
Yeah.
weed through, but, yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
So can we put on a meeting in for September? I don't know if we want it on the first one, because it's reports and stuff.
You go whatever you want on the weekend.
Okay. Yeah, maybe look
Yeah,
at,
because I don't think there's that much that needs to change.
No, I don't either.
Line items in here.
I mean, if we do it the 8th, maybe that'll be the meeting for that. September 8th.
Any other questions or conversation pieces to discussion number 6? Okay. Number 7, budget meeting dates. I know I wanted to move that to the first meeting in September. Just trying to get as much submitted as possible before we get the dates. I know the county is still, we should know by then as well. Have a stronger idea about, health benefits and where they're at, and we'll usually make them for October anyway, so we'll do that September 8th. Workplace violence policy is staying on here. that is being reviewed. Again, looking through it, it's pretty comprehensive what we have already. It just seems like we need to assign, what we'll be doing now is, we really need to figure out and assign some personnel to certain areas of the workplace violence policy. One of the big ones of issue is, for example, list that the supervisor is the one to be reported to. So, for example, I had an incident with someone in the office that got a little hairy, but who do I report to?
I would say forward.
You do, right, so in the policy, those things like that need to be tweaked because it doesn't account for that.
Right.
And then also just little things like, making sure that it is, whatever we finalize is published in the break area and it is shared with our employees and, and one of the main questions I had that was repeatedly through our policy is an incident form. And I was wondering if anyone has ever seen an incident form or
Yes.
shared incident form.
I have seen them, we've discussed them previously.
Computer for highway, so I shared with
For highway, is it the same general form for like the whole town?
Yes.
Like a boilerplate?
Why
Yeah,
don't you send it to each of us, Heidi?
it's kind of generic
Right, I imagine,
type
I
thing,
imagine
yeah.
so. Just wanna get eyes on that to see, match it with the state, make sure it's relevant. But other than that, I think we're more than capable of altering some of the things in our current policy and making sure it's workable. Right now, it's a lot of nice words, but it's not very practical if someone was to go through that process, and try to.
Needs a little more direction.
Yeah, it needs a little just more direction, some personnel around it, like who keeps the form, where do you go, things like that. So that's my update on that. Number 9, advertise for maintenance position. Councilman Longo?
Yes, we talked about that last time. We were gonna put a advertisement together. Did anybody do that? Based on the information that we put on this one sheet? If not, I'd be glad to do that, because we need to get it out there.
Yeah, I think we were ready to move forward with that. I think the only thing we added was the
8 to 10 hours.
being able to lift
Yeah.
certain amount of weight at the end of it, 25 to 50 pounds. Other than that, the description looks good.
Okay, I'll get that ready.
But at the same, we can put it on for the next meeting as a resolution.
And then number 10, clear position, Councilman Longo.
Yes, we have 2 interviews that Margie and I are setting up. We'll be getting those together and keep you informed of how we go with that.
Was there a specific reason why all of them weren't re-interviewed, or just taking the recommendations of executive session, going on
Right.
from there?
Yeah, because some had already been done.
Okay.
Then there was one that was a phone call, and then we have a new one. So,
A new one,
yes,
like,
that just came in.
There was no date on that that's resolution for cleaner, that someone had just dropped one off.
okay.
So we're moving forward with that.
All right, and number 11, sidewalk owner repair in front of the post office. In the packet, there's some email correspondence. I got some, Dale's provided some colored photos for everybody, in case you didn't see the attachment. Thank you. All right, so I reached out to the board, I was just asking some general questions about the history of the repair there, and or the sidewalk. So the repair that was made, that was, I'm taking the consensus of the board and saying that was an RG&E repair,
Yes.
that they came and repaired, and then they fixed that section that they dug up. to
That's
do
a
the
little
repair.
white section.
Yeah, the new section.
Yeah.
In terms of the rest of the sidewalks, it is also the board's, consensus that, and this is what we tell everyone, unfortunately, Marion does not have a sidewalk district. We do not maintain the sidewalks, we, don't fund the sidewalks, and so therefore the sidewalks and the maintenance are at the mercy of the owner of the property, the building. With that being said, the Battles had some good questions that I want to discuss with the board. For example, one of the questions was, all right, so that's the case, they go and fix the sidewalk, can they use purple concrete? What if the craftsmanship isn't great? What if it's, half done? What's the time frame for them to be able to get this done? Can they take all year and close up the sidewalk? So I think these are great questions, not only in this situation, but in general to any homeowner up and down Main Street. Because I think that's what prevents a lot of repairs being done as well, is kind of the lack of expertise, cost, and rules around what they can and cannot do to fix their sidewalk.
And that's where we're stuck, because there's no district and we have no control over it.
I can go to a liability portion of it, your, landlord policy that you have, and the liability policy that the, government has through the post office. That's where you're gonna be in jeopardy if you let this go for a very long time. There is a potential for a lawsuit, if someone does get hurt. So when you're talking timeline, like you can lock that up for a year, but if somebody gets hurt, they're gonna come back on you. And it's gonna be your liability that's suffering. And again, shoddy workmanship, if you have a contractor, you make sure they're insured. Because if it's not correct, then you have somebody to go back on if something is incorrect. But that's where I would look at it from a homeowner point of view, and from a business point of view would be my liability insurance. That puts me in jeopardy, that puts, my company that I go through in jeopardy of having a lawsuit.
Is there any recommendations for concrete? Especially because you got the curvature, or the curb and everything else in there. We're talking a 21 by
6 by 21.
6 by 21 feet.
Neil Zimmerman, he's one, we can give you some contractors that done work right here in town. Neil did the whole parking lot, down near all that section across there, did all that. So he's done major work like that. I can give you that contact, that'd be a start.
We have all that, we have contractors that
Oh, okay.
they line up to do the work, we just wanted to know our parameters here, what we can do.
Yeah.
No, those are good questions. I mean, especially with the curvature, because I haven't seen anything in our code, because again, we don't own the sidewalk.
Right.
So I'd hate to see them put a 10-inch curb in when the rest are 6, or, how are they supposed to match it down the way, if the curb is also the responsibility, so
I think you're gonna get involved with the county on that. Curbing, that would be a call that would have to be made, because it's county highway.
right, would the county does the curb, if you do the concrete,
So
I'm
therefore,
not entirely sure
I don't know.
how that would go down, but we can find out, okay? If you guys are willing to do the work, then we'll make sure that you do it right and with proper guidelines. Because to Councilman Herman's point, the liability of it is I hate to see anyone get hurt or get in trouble, because of it. And I know, again, with the federal government issues with the post office and their strict, liability, I'm sure their contract and their insurance is a little beefier than yours, and they would probably avoid all issues. Did they give you a time frame on this?
September 15th.
To have it done?
Done.
Really? Wow, that's not gonna happen.
Right.
No, we told them no.
Yeah,
No.
okay. All right, well, let's talk offline and, now that we kind of have a good idea of, unfortunately, you are responsible for repairing the concrete. We'll reach out to Kevin Rooney at the county this week. We'll get some answers from him and see if we can get you guys going before the winter. In the meantime, if they give you this Donald, gives you guys any issues with the time frame, please direct them to us. Okay, because that's like 3 weeks away. That's crazy, yeah.
That is crazy. I mean, unless they're willing to allow you to show them a contract that you have with a contractor, that you set it up, if they're willing to allow you to show that. I mean, we have insurance companies who allow us to, if we show a signed contract with like a deposit that's been made, because the other thing comes into play, that if the contractor has another job that runs over, or the weather is not permissible, but sometimes they'll allow if you have an actual written contract with a deposit, and I would maybe ask him if he would allow for that.
Well, one thing we haven't got is estimates. We're waiting on estimates to come in, to see what it's gonna cost to repair the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And that's gonna take time too.
Yeah, and they have to be somewhat willing to work with you on that, as long as you're showing good faith that you're working on it, I would think they would work with you a little bit. You would hope.
Well, they
Have you dealt with the post office?
Federal government. Tough, it's tough.
Yeah, it is very
They're
tough.
not very nice.
Well, I'm sorry you're going through this. We just kind of got over one battle and now
I
we're
know,
on the next,
because we
so,
finally got that one closed out, and
yeah.
now this.
Okay, well, one thing at a time, we'll take it one thing at a time and we'll get it repaired, okay? But yeah, so I will CC you guys on those correspondence with the highway department,
Okay.
okay? Number 12, community collaboration, Councilwoman Tabor.
Okay, I put a handout in, everybody's packet, except I gave them one tonight. After the episode that happened at the park a couple of weeks ago, I was, contacted by Melanie Finelli and Morgan Farms about putting together a community event, to really just acknowledge law enforcement, first responders and such. The next day I got a text from Marion Johnson, who had a similar idea, encouraged her to get in touch with Melanie, which she did. Later that day, I got a message from Peyton DeLizer at the high school, who's a student, who had an idea of a plan, had already had contact with Melanie, and said that Melanie told her that the youth could take over leading it. Melanie didn't need to be involved, but that they would support it in any way they could. So then I connected Mary and Peyton, and they've been communicating and put together this concept of having a Marion Community Connection Day that will bring families, local organizations, first responders, and businesses together for an afternoon of fun, food, and giving back. The goal is to foster stronger relationships, showcase community assets, and support local needs. They're talking about providing lunch with hot dogs donated from Morgan Farms. And did they call Heidi to see about a date? They were looking at September 14th, doing it on a Sunday afternoon, but from just like a couple hours in the afternoon.
Let's see if the parks will.
Yeah, one of them was gonna call, so. I'm just putting this out there. I think they've reached out to MEO as well to connect up with them, and the idea is really just trying to bring people together, to just foster a community event. And those was a lot of interest in it, and, that was that. We didn't necessarily need the board approval.
MEO was asked to combine this type of event with Fall Festival, and MEO said, yes, we have an entire section dedicated to that.
Okay, cool. So I didn't know if anybody had any questions, wanted more information.
No, just let it develop. I was over at Ontario Golf Club Saturday night. I talked to owner Sean, because I knew something was kind of going on like this, and he'd also said he'd make available some of his really cool wrapped, support police big equipment, that he has. So he said just give him a date, and he'll make sure he has a couple big pieces of equipment available as well, whenever we decide to do that. So he's on board as well. Awesome, thank you, sounds good. Number 13, sewer treatment truck, Councilman Lundville.
Okay, we've got the three estimates. Where do we stand? I know the lawyers are going back and forth, who's gotta take the next action, so.
So I just got the three proposals. I'm drafting a letter, an official proposal letter to send over to the authority, probably tomorrow, if not tomorrow, Wednesday for sure. As our town attorney said, they probably won't refuse it. It just technicality, make sure it's in writing. I'll CC the board and that email as well.
Okay.
Any other discussion points? Open for discussion? This time I'd like to open up to citizen comments. If there's anyone who wishes to make comments, please stand now. Ms. Teresa?
I would like to mention that I've noticed in the last several board meetings that a lot of time is spent on questions and discussions or input that were asked for in email and never happened. And I thought that maybe the town board meetings could go a little bit more efficiently if the certain questions or input toward, are there any corrections to this policy? Are there any changes you'd like to make before we put it to the board meeting? If those questions could be actually followed through in email, I think that the board meetings would go more efficiently and that you guys would actually get more accomplished in a timely fashion. And I would like to ask you to communicate in through your emails ahead of these meetings so that we can see just how much work you guys are doing, because we know that it is happening, but seeing it is not necessarily happening at the board meeting.
Thank you. Anyone else? Moving on to our resolutions. Resolution number 1, authorize 2025 intermunicipal agreement with Marion Central School District for tax collection.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And forgive me, Keith, I'm gonna butcher his last name. Yeah, that's what I always wanna say, it comes out a little differently. Resolution number 2, resignation of employment of Keith Mazurka from the planning board.
Move.
Second.
Councilwoman Herman?
Yes.
Councilman Lonville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Tabor?
Yes.
Supervisor Jones?
Yes. Resolution number 3, resignation of employment of Keith Bazurka from the bar board.
Move. Second.
Call roll, please.
Councilwoman Herman?
Yes.
Councilman Lonville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Tabor?
Yes.
Supervisor Jones?
Yes. Resolution number 4, authorize town board to send an RFP to repair the sink at the Marion Town Park Pavilion A.
Move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 5, authorize town board to send an RFP to repair the outdoor bathroom door and lock in the Marion Town Park Pavilion A.
Move.
Second, just to add a little discussion on that, I was up there last night. Steve did get the door closed, but it's not complete, there's no way to lock it. So just to let everybody know, that's gonna be a continual issue.
That's what I asked with a padlock on it.
Well, that's what we were kind of discussing. I discussed with, Steve to see if that was possible, but he said he didn't think that would.
Can we put a temporary plywood over the whole door frame?
Maybe, I'll check with him.
I had a question on this too for the RFP. Are we going to get a quote for a more advanced locking system?
Yes.
Digital?
I would like to because
Yes.
of what happened and why it's the way it is,
Right.
yeah. I believe that's what Mike had mentioned when we talked about it.
Okay.
Was getting a digital or more advanced system that you couldn't lock yourself in.
Remote access.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that resolution? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 6, authorize intersection survey for Route 21 at Buffalo Street and Marion Walworth Road.
Move.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution number 7, set a public hearing to utilize contingency funds to create a new .gov website.
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That'll be on September 8th. Number 8, authorize public hearing for local law entitled real property tax levy limit.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is that also gonna be on the 8th?
Yes. Resolution number 9, authorize hiring Kristen Sloan for the position of recreation basketball coordinator.
Move.
Long roll, please.
Councilwoman Herman,
Yes.
Councilman Lonzo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Tabor,
Yes.
Supervisor Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you, Marissa.
Yeah, Kristen's here with us.
Oh.
Hi.
Resolution number 10, authorize advertising for Board of Assessment Review Board members.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 11, Fall Festival parking lot closure.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 12, Marion Fall Festival road closure.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 13, authorize Watts Architects and Engineers to create an abatement design plan.
Move.
Second.
Long roll, please.
Call roll, please.
Councilwoman Herman,
Yes.
Councilman Lonzo,
Yes.
Councilwoman Tabor,
Yes.
Supervisor Johnson.
Yes. Resolution number 14, authorize supervisor to sign the 2026 intermunicipal agreement for animal control services.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 15, prepayment of claims.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, I'd like to open up to any additional citizen comments. Okay.
Motion to move into executive session?
Yeah, we're gonna move into executive session now, in relation to personnel matters, salary, and minutes. So, have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.